Today in YouTuber news, quick bites. Jenna Marbles has announced she's stepping down from her podcast. Did Bryce Hall pee on his fans? And Charli spends an incredible amount of money on Dixie's birthday present. I'm Benedict Townsend and this is YouTuber news, quick bites. Brought to you by PopBuzz, the only website that hasn't peed on its fans and is proud to say it never will. And all I can say is, you're welcome. Our first story. Jenna Marbles and her partner Julian Solomita have announced they are discontinuing their joint podcast after 6 years, much to the dismay of their many fans. In an episode called The Final Podcast, makes sense, the emotional couple thanked their fans for their support and say that they'll miss creating the show. Jenna wrapped the episode up with a personal update saying, quote, "I have a million things that I would love to say, but I just want you to know that I'm doing okay, I'm getting help, so I genuinely appreciate all the support and love." The announcement comes after a rocky few months for Jenna, since she announced back in June she was coming off YouTube in an emotional video in which she addressed and apologised for old racist videos that had resurfaced. At the time, people weren't sure if she would come back after a few months, after a few weeks, or would never come back. And now, with the announcement that the podcast is ending, it really doesn't seem like she'll be making a return to the internet anytime soon. Our second story. Bryce Hall has been slammed for throwing a massive house party during lockdown for his birthday, completely ignoring all social distancing or safety guidelines in one of the worst hit states in the United States. Wait, isn't this last week's story? We've already done this. Oh, that was Jake Paul. Oh, no, the week before we did this. Oh no, that was the Hype House. Oh, interesting. Okay, so it's just every single TikTok and YouTube star. Right, okay, that's cool. But you know what? Bebo stars, you gotta hand it to them. They're following the rules. And I've not seen a single Club Penguin influencer breaking social distancing. Bryce Hall of Sway House. It should say Bryce Hall of the Sway House, but it just says Bryce Hall of Sway House, kind of like as if he's like a Targaryen or something. My name is Bryce Hall of House Sway. Our coat of arms has the coronavirus, and also fake diamonds, and also really expensive merch that has like one line of text on it that says like chill in Comic Sans, and it's like $40. As I was saying, Bryce Hall of Sway House held the party on Friday, and footage posted to social media from the event shows hundreds of people close together having the time of their lives, which, as we all know in this day and age, is bad. Bryce has received a lot of backlash online from YouTubers like Elijah Daniel, Tyler Oakley. Tyler himself tweeted, quote, "Please consider social distancing, mask wearing, and using your platform to encourage responsibility during a worldwide pandemic. This is disgusting." And Elijah Daniel also made reference to the mayor of LA threatening to turn off the power and water to the Sway House, which is actually true. That is something the mayor has threatened as a deterrent to try and stop people from having these giant parties. Because at the end of the day, if you keep asking them and they won't listen, the only thing you can do is just turn the electricity off. Now, while other people, when they get called out, like for example Thomas Petru of the Hype House, when they get called out, they do tend to apologise and say, yeah, maybe that was a bad idea. Bryce has taken a different angle, posting a TikTok singing along to Kesha's song Take It Off, specifically the lyrics, "I don't give a f***," and also tweeted, "If I don't respond to you hating on me, just know you're not worth my time." So it seems that Bryce is doubling down on his bad behaviour. The backlash has also naturally got the internet miners digging away trying to find old clips of him. For example, the time he allegedly peed on his own fans from a balcony while attending Playlist Live in 2017. Now, there isn't actually any video evidence of this, but Bryce did address the accusation in a 2017 YouTube video called I'm Sorry. They're all called I'm Sorry. I can picture the thumbnail. In that video, Bryce said he, quote, drank apple juice, which, quote, kind of took over his body, and that people were daring him to do it, so he did it. Although he does stress that his fans apparently weren't underneath him. Don't even have time to break down what's going on there. But, you know, at the end of the day, if someone dares you to do something, you should always do it. That's what I've always been taught by children's TV and films, so that's a great defense there, Your Honor. But regardless of whether apple juice has mystical powers over Bryce's body, and I'm not saying it doesn't, please stop going to parties during the pandemic, especially if Bryce is there, as let's be honest, he probably will pee on you. Alright, let's move on to our next story. And finally, Charli D'Amelio has gone, or at least paid someone else to go, to extraordinary lengths to make her sister Dixie's birthday extra extravagant this year. I didn't say D'Amelio, and yes, I'm proud of myself. Charli's latest YouTube video shows her employing her sleuthing and detective skills by getting popular Instagram trainer aficionado Benjamin Kicks to track down a rare pair of Jordan 1 Dior's in a size 6. Now, as the trainer's release was limited to 8,500 pairs, And as there are not many sizes on the smaller and larger end of that production, it was very hard to track down a pair of size 6. Size 6 is apparently quite a rare size. I have no idea what a US size 6 is in UK sizes. I think it's 50 degrees in what we call foot Fahrenheit. Also, worth mentioning, what a stroke of luck, by the way, that kid's parents named him Benjamin Kicks, and then he happened to go on to be a shoe aficionado. That's such a good coincidence. And it's Kicks with a Z as well. It's really cool and funky. I guess if you're born Benjamin Kicks, like, what other job are you gonna do? Do you know what I mean? It's like if you're born with the name Mr. Muscle. What else are you gonna do apart from, invent a drain cleaner? The Americans in the audience won't understand that, but that's fine. They only make up huge swaths of the viewer base. Now, the top secret birthday mission actually saw Benjamin travel to Paris, from the US to finally find someone willing to do a trade for the low bargain price of $30,000. Which, if you think about it, that's just 15 grand per shoe. So anyway, I joke, but I'm sure those trainers will have a great life, locked away in a safe somewhere, never seeing the light of day. Or, if you're Jake Paul, eat cereal out of them, which I would say is probably the most disgusting thing I've ever seen, but at least the shoes are getting some use. If you're gonna spend all that money on a shoe, get your money's worth. And that brings us to the end of the show. My name is Benedict Townsend. You can find me at Benedict Town on social media, and I'll be back with a full-blown episode of YouTuber News this weekend, on Friday on YouTube or on Saturday on Snapchat Discover. Either way, if you haven't already, please hit subscribe. It's the best way to get brand new episodes of this show, that show, and every show. There's also a brand new episode of the YouTuber News podcast out right now that you could be listening to right after this episode to keep the YouTuber train rolling. Choo choo. And you know what I like to do before I chew? Take a quick bite. And that's what we just did. Goodbye. Made it work at the end.